everyone. Welcome back to the OhKay Podcast Season 2. We're finally kicking it off again. And today we've got an amazing guest. Someone who I've been talking to for quite a while. An amazing member of the investment community. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Ben. I'm from the smartfinance page. That's about it. It's just talking about all about investing, really. Not much more to it.
This guy's too modest, man. Like, he's just recently started a YouTube channel, which you guys definitely have to check out. He's part of the Ben and Che podcast, really amazing. And he's created a nice community of investors through the Sensible Investors page, which is really interesting, all stuff that we'll get into. But you've told the audience who you are. So, obviously, you're super interested in investing and personal finance. What started your journey?
To be fair, I don't know what point I actually clicked with it all. When I was 60 and I started buying gold and silver when I was working at a pub waitering. And I think at the time I didn't really know it was investing. And then a few years after that I saw my brother was buying and selling stocks and stuff. My dad got interested in it, and then I kind of just like tagged along. But then I got really interested into it, and then it just went from there and evolved over time to the point where I've actually got my own YouTube channel now, Instagram, and making websites and stuff. So it's grown a huge amount. I don't really know where it just clicked almost.
Yeah, it's really strange. Like, I think the personal journey that I've had is very similar. Like, I've always had an interest in money, always trying to earn more of it, definitely. Then just somewhere along the journey, I just realized there's this amazing thing called investing where, you know, all you have to do is be patient, put your money into certain assets over a certain amount of time, and you can profit off of that. You know, it just seemed to make sense because all my life I'd been around people that had complained about wealth in one way or another, or wanted to start to generate some kind of generational wealth or passive income like we hear all the time on YouTube. And there was just never any solution. No one ever really mentioned investing, and I just kind of stumbled into it one day.
It's quite amazing when you actually realise you're going, where the hell has this been my whole life, almost.
Exactly.
It's like we're working every single day, going to work, getting paid at the end of the month, and then just redoing it all the time. But now I've found another way of getting paid. It's like, where has it been? Why aren't we taught this in schools? It's ridiculous.
Like, every single person I talk to, it seems to be like a really reoccurring theme. Like, why aren't we taught this in schools? Like, but really, the more I think about it, the cynical part of me kind of thinks that it's not really in the school system's benefit to teach everyone about investing.
Yeah.
Because it in a way, it kind of encourages you to, like, just think about this on like a deeper level. How many people go into a job interview and know the financial standing of the company that they're actually going to work for?
Yeah.
Very few people, which especially during this time is one of the most sensible things to do, because it's all good and well getting hired, but what if you get hired, you get a job, and then a couple months down the line, the company that you're working for just goes bankrupt because they've run out of money? Do you know what I mean? And a lot of the time, like, obviously it's harder with like private companies, but if you work for a public company, you can somewhat see their standing. Even with some certain private companies, they still have to disclose certain information, which you can look up. And I feel like just being an investor, like, and this is what I tell to our people, even your hobbies, you start to look at in a different way, you know, because you really start to gain a deeper understanding to how like loads of businesses work.
I think with the schools not teaching it, I think it's because it's not their job or what they're designed to do. They're there to create workers, aren't they, not investors?
Yeah.
And they're trying to get into an economy kind of thing. I think another thing, if you went into a job interview and started reading off their financial statement and going, you could improve it, they might get a bit worried. Or impressed, I don't know.
Oh man, I'm telling, like, one of the things that I really wanted to do, because I haven't seen this, because especially with what I'm doing now, I thought, do you know what would make a really interesting YouTube video? If I go to a bunch of job interviews, like, like not actually caring whether I get the job or not, and just be like, oh, so guys, what do you think about your company's financial statements? Just looking at the
That
way
would be brilliant.
the interviewers would look at me and be like, wow.
You go straight over the head. We're like, we're managers here. What the hell does that mean?
It says here you're applying for a graduate role.
Sorry, you're only supposed to be cleaning here. You're not supposed to be with the CEO, are you?
Exactly. No, that is quite funny. But yeah, like clearly with me and you, there's something that we have in common, because we haven't just done normal things. Like I feel like people eventually, maybe we found it earlier than some others, get on their investing journey, but we have gone a step further where we are now trying to create content as well as create communities of other people that think like us, which in many ways is very beneficial to us. I'm sure we'll go into that in a bit. But what do you think it is that has inspired you to take the step further to like create this content for like other financial literate people, or to encourage financial literacy? And again, what do you think is stopping other people from doing the same?
Well, for me, the reason why I started it is because I've always wanted to help people, and it's just trying to find my place where I can benefit other people from my life and actually help them progress. And I think this is where it's came from, because at one point in my life I was like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. It's like, I'm just treading water here, so yeah, I can start investing, but that's for myself. So now, okay, creating content, I don't want to just be putting random stuff out there. I actually want to help people and educate people, and I think that's the direction my life's going at the moment, is trying to actually create a system that's going to benefit everyone, no matter their backgrounds, that they'll be able to better their lives and actually try and take control of their lives, instead of just being like a drone day to day, just going to work, going home, eating, sleeping, you know. And I think one of the largest things what's stopping people from starting investing, or just finances in general, is that they're scared almost, or they think, well, like with investing, it costs too much, or it takes too much money, or too much time. But it can be so simple, and there's not a lot of content out there that actually helps people understand this. And this is why I'd created a £5 challenge. It's like, with as little as £5 a week, you can actually start building up a portfolio. It's not a huge amount of money that you're actually going to miss to say, but then it builds up over time, and you actually got this long-term growth you're building. Because some people, £100 is a lot of money, but if you can do that, it's infinite almost.
Yeah. No, you're really right, and I do really like that £5 challenge. And I hope it's like one of the, like, for all the stupid challenges that we see going around, like the £5 challenge is a really good thing for people to catch up on, because especially being in the position that I've been, and loads of beginners coming to me, a reoccurring thing that I hear is like, oh, how much money do I need to invest? And like you said, the thing that does stop a lot of people is them thinking that they need to have a lot, or they need to like have some kind of steady income or anything. Like, you can invest with anything, guys, as long as you have some sort of money that doesn't need to go to like bills or debt. If you've got some kind of excess cash, you can put that towards investing. You can, like Ben says, £5 a month, you know, whatever you can do. Like, it really does make a really big difference in the long run. And another thing that you said, that honestly, I know I've got my VR character now, but I was smiling when you said, it's like, it's really, really nice for me to find other creators that like generally care and build their content with the purpose of helping people. I think that is so important, you know, because at the end of the day, so anyone that's watching this or listening to this, I don't think it's any surprise to you that people realize that there's a lot of money in the finance space. So you will get a lot of creators now that are just making videos for the sake of making videos. And maybe when you're first starting out consuming the content, it's not that transparent to you, but I can tell you if you're a creator and you've been doing this long enough, you can tell the difference between someone that's making a video to actually inform their audience and someone that's just making a video just for the views, you know. I try not to get mad at it, because at the end of the day, you know, it is a grind, it is a job at the end of the day. But for the consumers, like, I like to think about it as like, if this was me advising my friends or my family, like, is this content that I would be comfortable like imparting onto them, and can they actually get something from this? You know, is this like, I kind of like try to view it as like, can I be my own bigger brother? Like, is this something that would have benefited me when I was younger? Someone telling me this stuff. So it's really good to see.
I think it's a good way of looking at it is that would you use your own advice also?
Yes.
If you wouldn't use your own advice, then why the hell are you telling other people to do such? Isn't it?
That's so funny you say that, because I watch some of these big YouTubers and they will say some stuff. They'll be like, you know, let me try and think of a really good example. You know, like, you should always understand the stock that you're investing in. You know, like, do your due diligence. Like, don't just sell because everybody else is selling, and don't just buy into something because everybody else is selling. Next moment, I've sold all my Tesla stock.
I've seen a few of those.
Yeah, like, the end is coming. This is that. I was like, oh my goodness, it's interesting to see.
It's quite amazing when you watch long-term investors turn into short-term traders.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm glad I'm not the only one that's noticed that. It's crazy. And I think to myself, it's like, is it just the YouTube game? And like, do they actually think like this? Or like, what do you think is going on with that?
I think there's been a bit of the euphoria in the market almost at the moment, where we've seen so much gains as a whole, but then also we've got a lot of noise because of the markets going up so much. We've got so many other assets coming onto the market, like we've got NFTs, and then we've got loads of different crypto coins coming out. I think it's almost too much. It's just like too much going on for people that they're just bouncing around. They're trying to get in on the next biggest thing, and there's going to be a lot of people who's going to be left behind. I just think there's almost too much going on that you need to take a step back from it now, going what's actually of value and what you're actually going to get, or am I just being a sheep in the herd and just trying to be part of it?
It's kind of a bit hard, especially as a content creator. Like in the podcast that I was just recently doing with somebody else, which should be out soon, I was thinking that one of the downsides to my personality type is that I overthink things and I'm not spontaneous, and I feel like YouTube definitely like encourages people that are spontaneous and just create something. And especially when all of like this past year, so many things have happened in the finance world, and I feel like it would have been cool to jump in on that and like talk about it, but at the same time, does it really make a difference in the grand scheme of things? And like, I don't want to be one of those people just making videos for the sake of making a video, but at the same time, maybe that's counterintuitive with the whole YouTube game.
I think it depends on what you're actually trying to achieve also. It's like with me, I'm trying to achieve that. I just want to educate people and not trying to become this amazing influencer who does all the bits and bobs. I think that's why I'm not getting in on it, because personally it's not part of my investing plan. And I don't want to be part of the hype. I want to be part of the people who do normal investing almost, not part of this stuff long term, because over long term all these short term bits isn't going to matter. Because like if we look at the S&P 500, it's just like a straight line going up. You've got little bits in between, like 2020 you can't even see it on there really if you look at the max chart. So I don't see there's any point trying to get in on these trends, because it's not content I'm bothered in really.
No, you're very right, and the point that you just made with the S&P, it's like I cannot think of a single person that has reached out to me in the past year. It's like, oh, okay, I want to start investing. I'm so excited for the S&P. They're always like, this random SPAC or this random SPAC, or what do you think about this crypto or this crypto? And I'm like, you are getting into this with the wrong mentality. Like the amount of people that I had reaching out to me during the whole GameStop scenario, I was just like,
God.
I felt so bad for all of them, and I really do wonder what they think now. Like, guys, if you're still watching my content, like, hopefully you saw that scenario and maybe you participated in it. Hopefully you didn't get burnt too hard. But it's that process. It's like there's always going to be these hype and mania things. It's part of the natural cycle of things. But it's understanding that was a very limited thing. It was better to stay away from it, and it makes more sense to invest your money in more stable things that will actually progress over the longer period of time, like the S&P. You know?
I can definitely say it was fun watching though. It was very interesting. All of it happened. It's quite happy. I was on the sideline on the benches watching it. But it's amazing the emotions that the market can carry for investors. And then how many people in the last year has actually started investing because of the headlines going around going, oh, these people are making 100%, 300% gains. And everyone's going, what? I can't even do that with my bank account. So...
no, it's crazy. And like just the effects that it has. I think the really good thing for people like me and you that just try to like just observe it more is it highlighted so many different problems. Like for example, like I just found out today, like Trading 212 still isn't accepting new applicants.
Yeah,
like,
it's so annoying.
I think that's crazy. Being down for like how long has it been? Like 4 months.
At least I know people have been waiting for 3 months now. It's just crazy.
I
think they've got better with their system a little bit, but so many people still want to jump on trading. I think they've lost a lot of clients.
100%. 100%. They definitely have. And guys, this is also the importance of I always try to preach. It's important to understand the stocks that you invest in, but it's also just as important to understand the brokerage in which your money is in. You know, I use Free Trade, Trading 212, and Stake. Like, I don't like to just have everything in just one place personally. And like, although Free Trade has definitely caught some slack from me over the past couple months due to certain business decisions, at the end of the day, their infrastructure is very robust. And like, I actually attended one of their events very early on where they actually explain how they actually structure their whole business. And I think it all runs off of Amazon Web Servers, if I remember correctly. So pretty much them scaling up, it's pretty much no problem for them. That's why during the GameStop scenario, they had no problem onboarding as many people as they did, and they're still taking people on. Whereas Trading 212, especially them having their CFD accounts, because I think that's also a big problem why they haven't been able to onboard people. Because I feel like with every person that they onboard, there needs to be a certain amount of collateral that they have just in case the person goes in onto that side of their platform. So if loads of people on board suddenly, they're going to have so much more collateral than they've probably planned for in that space of time. So that's probably why they've been out for as long as they have. But I still think 4 months is quite a long time.
It definitely is. It's like, personally, I'm not too keen on Free Trade, like the way it works, but their business practice is really, really good, and it's a solid company. So I don't know why, I just can't get on with it. But I prefer Trading 212, but they have got a lot of problems in like the way that they've just announced. So they've got the FX fee now, haven't they? 0.15% on the US. So that was a bit annoying, but it's the same with all of them, really. Yeah. Like I use Hargreaves Lansdown, and then that's a very expensive platform. But because it's long term, I try and balance out the fees.
Do they charge you for each trade?
Yeah, so it's $11.95 if you do it individually. So yeah, I try and do it in a minimum of £1,000 investments. But then you can do it where you do monthly, and it's £1.50.
Okay.
So that's not too bad if you pick the stock beforehand, and funds are free to invest in. So yeah, you've got to have a lot of capital to even do one trade for me, because I like to try and make it under 1%. So yeah, it takes a lot, a lot of saving up.
That makes sense, but I don't see a company like Hargreaves Lansdown just suddenly going down over a certain event, you know what I mean? So there's pros and cons, and again, that's why I said the GameStop situation was very interesting, because it highlights that everyone generally likes to use these commission-free brokerages, but they've highlighted their issues. You know what I mean? People should, if you're really investing for the long term and you have a lot more capital, you should consider like one of the more established brokerages, because they're definitely there for a reason. But yeah, so just kind of going back a tiny bit, we just briefly touched on different types of content creators making different types of content. You personally, I think I already know the answer to this, but do you feel like you have some kind of responsibility as a creator, or do you think You can just say anything you want and just say, you know what, I'm not a licensed investor, which both of us are not, so remember to always do your own due diligence. But yeah.
The answer is yes, full stop. But I think it's the way everyone goes about it. I think if you are such an influencer, obviously you're there that you've actually got to make quality, and you can't mislead people by making these ridiculous claims. That's just, I think it should be a basic standard thing that you're not a scam artist, basically. And the other part of me is a personal side of, I try and give them the best advice which suits them. So I don't really say about investments, but more of a styles, and try and help people understand themselves to start investing, because that's another huge thing, is how you invest actually affects your returns.
Guys, if you don't subscribe to this guy, like he's just saying so many things that are just on point. It's so true, and this is what loads of people that are just starting really need to understand. There is no right way to invest. It's about your personality and your situation, like what makes sense for you. Like, guys, like, I'm very open about it. 95% of my wealth at the moment is in Tesla. Would I recommend other people to do that? Absolutely not. Look, I have the luxury of having so much free time that I can spend, like, so much time researching the company. I've been at home for the past year, so I've literally every single thing that happens with Tesla, I know about it. So if I see something, and especially of recently, there's been a lot of Tesla FUD. So for those that don't know, that's fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Loads of companies publishing things that really aren't substantial to the actual business operations of Tesla. So that has caused the stock price to go down, and I'm just looking at that, it's like, wow, this is amazing. I can buy more. I can slowly reach my goal. Whereas other people that have just bought onto Tesla just for the hype, they'll be looking at their portfolios going down, like, oh no, like, what's going on? And maybe they sell. Do you know what I mean? It's really important that you personally understand what you're investing in, and it just makes sense for you.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I think over the last year, moving a little bit away of stocks and stuff, but cryptocurrencies, I don't actually hold any, because I have a strategy and plan, and I have a goal, and I try and invest towards that goal. And for me, if I deviate off of it, I haven't researched cryptocurrencies enough to invest into it. But if I did, and I didn't do my research, what that does is increase my risk, because one, it's not towards my goal or strategy, and then two, I haven't researched it, so I'm increasing my risk emotions, because I might just go, oh crap, it's bottoming out, I've got to sell it all. Like the other day, we saw that 30% drop, and not a lot of people can do that, because risk tolerance is for everyone else. I don't know if I could, really, because it's such volatile, isn't it?
Exactly. You're touching on a really important subject, which I don't think enough creators are talking about, and I definitely do want to make more videos on it. It's like the actual, like, it's good and all knowing about all the different metrics and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, even if you know all of that stuff, it's the practicality of the emotions you feel during the market cycles. So people need to talk about the psychology of investing. And like Ben just said, now, say you jump into crypto, you don't really know that much about it, but you know, you just, all you go off about, okay, I'm gonna buy low, sell high. It's as simple as that. That's all you need to do. Unfortunately, you do not understand human emotion. You, like, it's so easy. And guys, I cannot stress to you enough, it's so easy to doubt yourself when you see your stock or your money going down. Do you know what I mean? And you think that you've done a mistake, you'll start to think, the brain does crazy things, you know, when you're seeing red. You feel like, oh, this is going to go to the ground, I might as well just jump out now, blah, blah, all these different things. So it's really, this is where experience comes in, and having more knowledge also helps. But again, if you're investing and it's not backed up by any knowledge or experience, it's so easy to do something stupid, you know?
Definitely. Like last March we saw it. My portfolio back then, it dropped 22%. So it's like, well, like that one day dip with cryptocurrencies. But for me, because I was investing to my strategy and my goal, my emotions wasn't volatile at all. It's like I didn't sell out. No, this is an opportunity to buy my stocks at a lower price to get me to my goal quicker. So
Yeah.
I trebled my account over a couple of month period because I just dumped everything I had to it because it was like, okay, opportunity, I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
So that's the other side of it. If you know your strategy, then take advantage of these opportunities.
100%. And again, I'm just smiling and laughing because I feel like I've nearly taken this to the extreme, and now Ben, I think I've got a problem. I feel like I have no emotion now, like, especially because I'm invested so heavily in Tesla. I feel like it's kind of a good thing, I think, because I feel like I've truly gotten to that stage now where I'm really disconnected with money. Like, I look at my account now, from its highs, it's down about 10k, and I'm just like, oh, okay. I literally feel nothing. It makes no difference to me. You know, the funny thing is, I think I actually get slightly upset when I see it going up, because I'm like, oh, I can't buy as much now. And I feel like I don't want to go to the extreme of being like some of those FIRE guys but I won't lie to you, sometimes I go out now, and even buying something like a simple, like, £20, like, jeans, I'm like, do I really need this? But I'm like, no, okay, all you have clothes have holes in them. You have to buy clothes. You're going to have to go outside soon. How's that with you?
Yeah, no, it's like the other day I was on the PS4, and it's just like, I really want a new game. There's this game I wanted. It's 60 quid. I was going, blow my neck. Do you know how many shares I could buy with that? It's not worth it. That's a game. I can wait. Blow my neck. Yeah. The mindset changes so much.
Yeah, it
you compare
really
it
does.
To stocks. It's like, okay, well, I can buy this takeout, which is 30 quid, or I can buy 30 quids of dividend stocks. Like GSK used to be £15, so I could buy 2 of those, or a load of BP shares, and you see everything like it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I'll earn some money, and literally, I feel like I'll instantly put it into investments. Like, the way I can easily throw like £600 into my free trader account now, but go outside and spend 600. You will never, ever, ever catch me going on a shopping spree to spend over like 100. Nah, it's just not happening.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, and I've just started to think, it's like, okay, eventually I'm going to have to enjoy this money. So, but at the same time, having this mindset is definitely going to help me actually get to those goals. Because, like you said, once you start to actually see everything in the true value of what it actually represents, because that's the thing. People are looking at, like, if you have a £10 note in your hand, someone's looking at that like, oh, cool, fish and chips or something like that. Whereas we're looking at, oh, wow, this is a piece of my future. And that mindset is so fundamental to investing. You know, you need to really think about the long term and not give in to like instant gratification.
Yeah, I think another good way of looking at it is how much is this money worth? Like, you go to work every day and you work your ass off to get this hourly wage, and then you got taxes and everything. So when it actually comes down to it, I try to calculate my take-home hourly wage. So, like, how much I earn per hour. Well, my monthly take-home, and then how many hours I worked during the month, and then worked out how many minutes or hours I would have had to take to buy something. Like a pair of jeans that takes, 3-4 hours of work. And like, would you work 4 hours just for a pair of jeans? No, I wouldn't. Yeah. So that's another good way of looking at it.
That's a brilliant way of looking at it, because I feel like that really conceptualizes the things that you want when you put it into, okay, don't just think about it as cash. Think about it as like, this is hours of my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is actually hard labor. And you just start to be like, okay, do I really need that? You know, guys, it is okay to indulge yourself every once in a while, and maybe with certain expenses. Like, I'm looking at my PC right now, which cost me $1,700, but I was like, okay, this is for a specific purpose. I know all the things that it's going to enable me to do and how long I'm going to have it. This PC's pretty much already paid itself off with the money that I've earned through using it, you know. So it's just useful to kind of just optimize your spending, you know, because it's not just about investing, it's also about personal finance as well, and you do need to think about those. things.
Yeah, it's not talking about not spending any money and going, oh, I can't buy this because it's 8 hours of my life, and it's actually putting a value on it. Is this actually worth the money you're getting it? Are you actually wanting it? Is it worth that time? There's a lot of things, like I like my food and drink, so to me that's what makes me happy, so it's definitely worth it. To other people it's not. Maybe makeup's more worth it to them, and there's nothing wrong with that, because you've got to have happiness, enjoy the journey, not the destination.
That's true. That is true. I try to remind myself of that sometimes. but yeah, no, that's a very good point. That's why I feel like with the FIRE community, like sometimes they take it a bit too far, whereas like they're literally, there's no way you're enjoying life by just actively avoiding everything that you have to spend money with. It's important to like live life every now and again. But kind of slowly segueing to this, it's like now, obviously going through this financial journey now, creating your community, understanding all these different things, how have the people around you responded to this new super financially frugal Ben?
To be fair, I don't know. A lot of my mates, they half know about all of the stuff I do. I talk to them, but they're not really that bothered. So a lot of my family, they're getting into it. My dad makes me go through his finances and his investments.
Oh, that's really good.
And we pick out the ones together and we go, okay, with your age, what is your goal? Okay, we're going to get you this time. Nice. But then I've got other family members that's called me a lot of names because they think I'm money orientated. Again, well, that's not quite what it is. It's kind of I want my freedom. I don't want to be working for the rest of my life. So you've got people on both sides. It's quite strange how people react to it. Yeah. Though I just really wanted to hear that because in my personal life, like, people have acted very differently. I would say, once it comes to my passions, I'm definitely very eccentric, and especially if I feel like this is something that will genuinely help you, I'm kind of relentless. I'm like, guys, nah, you don't have a choice. You're investing. Sign up to one of these accounts today, and I will bug them again and again. Like I don't care if it gets to the point where they start to be annoyed with me, because in my head, I'm like, once they finally do it, and it's been this way so many times, I can't tell you the amount of people that are like, okay, I wish I had listened to you 6 months ago. And I'm like, yeah, you should have. But yeah, no, it's all, because in my mind, it's like, I know where I want to go and like where I want to be. And I know I'm 100% going to get there, but I don't want to be there by myself, Yeah. Like, I would, in the best case scenario, I would like that the people that I already know also elevate themselves with me. Because I'm not saying that they won't get to, like, the place that they need to be, but especially working in an investment bank and seeing these people that are on such high salaries, but don't invest, and they're working in an investment bank, it's crazy. So many, like, guys, just because you see someone with a high salary or like a good car, it doesn't mean that they're financially literate or they're doing something sensible. So many people buy stuff on credit. So many people are in so much debt, you would not believe it. So you can be a lot more well off than these people, but the sooner you start, the better. And that's why I'm so passionate with telling my other young friends, guys, you need to start now. It's super important. I guess with like some people it's been okay. Other people, but like you said, now with my family, like my mom and dad, I help them with their investment accounts as well. So yeah, I think it's going slightly different than this. As I remember seeing on Instagram and stuff that people were saying, if you're the only one pushing in your circle, you're in the wrong circle. It's like, cut off the people who aren't trying to progress like you. And it's like,
interesting.
That's a horrible take on stuff.
Yeah.
It's like quite narcissistic, it seems. It's like, oh, I'm better than everyone else, so I'm going to dump them, because I'm thinking you're not going to end up with many friends.
It's very funny that you say that, because especially with the way that I talk and just the things that I do, when I do get pushback, people are often like, oh, all you care about is money, or you just want to be right, or like, oh, you think yourself as high. I'm like, if I did, I wouldn't be talking to you. You know what I mean? Like, because I've also heard these same things, but I feel like that's a very just like you said, a very narcissistic and nasty thing or nasty way to look at people. Do you know? I think everyone has their value. It doesn't, just because you have noticed something that they may have not, doesn't mean that you're better than them, or you should just constantly see the need to just see people as like, okay, how are they useful to me? Do you know what I mean? So I think it's equally as good and if anything, it's more rewarding bringing people up. I feel so much sense of accomplishment whenever I get, like, I've had some random people in my Discord server from India saying, oh, thank you so much, like, you've taught me so much about investing, just going through the different resources that you've put out. Like, that makes me feel good, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want to constantly be leeching off of other people just because they know more than me, you know? That's a weird way to look at things.
Yeah. Makes you feel funny, really, going, there's people like that. Like, one of my best mates, he's not bothered about it at all. And he's very happy just plodding through his life. But he's the best mate. So I'm not going to just get rid of him because he doesn't want money. Because not everyone is about money, are they? Exactly.
And like you said, it's also that misconception, like you just said, it has nothing to do with the money. It's about the freedom that the money will bring. You know, it's just having more options, and I feel like that's what people don't really understand. It's and it kind of goes to that thing. I'm sure you've realized this too. A very important thing to do when you invest is also look at the CEOs or the people that actually run the companies that you invest in.
Yeah,
and you'll see a lot of similar characteristics or important characteristics, and it's just like understanding these certain qualities and trying to impart them into parts of your life. It's just a very valuable thing to do, and it's not about just having a lot of money. It's like the different options that it gives you, the amount of value that you can bring to each other, to other people. You know, at the end of the day, you'll always be successful at what you do if you focus on actually providing value rather than just what you can take. You know what I mean? So that's why I have no doubt in my mind you're gonna be up there someday. You know what I mean? Because you're actually thinking. No, man, it's true, because you're actually thinking about, okay, how is this useful? Like, what use will someone take from the things that I'm putting out? And that's a very good mindset to have.
Yeah, it's something I'm just always trying to push for in my life. It's like with investing, I want to get to the point, but it's like FIRE, they're talking about a retirement age, don't they, and early retirement. And whenever anyone asks me, it's like, I don't know what my number is, because I'm just going to be working. It's like, one of my goals is to earn enough through dividends and all this other passive income that I can create a charity one day, or try and do more charity work. So it's about actually trying to put good content out and help other people. It's not about I want $1 million portfolio or any of that, really.
Oh man, it's again, I need to like do some facial capture things, so then you can see how much I'm smiling. Like, honestly, the things that you're saying, man, it's really good. And maybe there is something about this law of attraction thing, and you go close to other people that think like you. Because that, with me, it's my end goal is to kind of, like, do you know Mr. Beast?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. I would like to be like some kind of finance orientated Mr. Beast, so like host competitions where, okay, so I gather a bunch of young people, ask them loads of finance questions. The person that has actually shown that they understand this the most, you win like $1 million worth of Tesla stock. Like, just really encouraging, making investing cool, understanding companies, and just rewarding people, because I want to give back. Do you know what I mean? I think that's the really rewarding thing, and that's the thing where a lot of debate that I've had with people about being wealthy that they miss. It's like, the more you have, the more opportunity you have to actually create immense value for the people around you. You know what I mean? So that for me is one of the driving factors. I want to make it so I can help other people make it, because it's a lot harder to do it when you barely have anything yourself.
Oh, for sure. But I think that's also part of what you're saying about attraction. Is that the more you try and give to people, even if you don't have a lot, people are going to be attracted to you because you're actually trying to help people. So you're going to get more of a following and more of an influence, and then in time that's going to attract more things. So yeah, maybe that will attract the money for you personally, or attract money towards opportunities or charities or your goal as itself. So yeah, as long as you're trying to do good and not trying to be a scam artist almost and try and be self-indulging in all of it, then it's definitely, I think that it's quite good.
No, you're completely correct. And one thing that I will say, guys, with any kind of long-term goals that you have, obviously with mine, I can't be giving out like £1 million worth of Tesla stock at the moment, but I do try my best with just dedicating as much time as I can to anyone that reaches out to me. And so many people don't realize that, guys, all you have to do is message me. Any question you have, I will spend a lot of time going over anything that you want with me. Like, it's completely fine. I know loads of people are like, oh, this random online creator, just, we're not going to bite you. It's completely fine. But what the main point I was going to say is that look, Ben here is already kind of contributing to his goals. He's already doing charity work. I see that you have your dividend portfolio that you then donate a tiny bit to charity.
Yes, I've done that before. Yeah. I'm thinking of creating another one actually very soon.
Good.
I've been trying to find dividend companies. Well, yeah, companies what pay dividends and creating this plan. They actually work towards making a better world. And then I want to try and donate that in the future. So that's something I'm working on at the moment.
Oh man, that's so cool. That's really good, man. There need to be more people like you, man. I genuinely think it's really good, and I just hope YouTube eventually evolves to the point where the people on top are the ones that clearly want to just give value to everyone, and not just making videos for the sake of it. But yeah, hopefully it goes that way. But now it's time for the rapid fire round. So I'm just going to say I'm going to say random things, and you just have to say the very first thing that comes to mind. Okay?
Yeah.
You ready? Okay. Cryptocurrency.
Volatile.
Bitcoin to 500,000.
Air.
Dogecoin to $1.
Oh God, Elon Musk. Yeah.
Warren Buffett.
Goat.
Diversification.
Good. That's what's just good.
Free trade.
Stable.
Trading 212.
Iffy.
Elon Musk.
Oh, I don't have a very great. Yeah. Controversial. That's it.
That's fair. Jeff Bezos.
Classy.
Okay. Bonds.
Old. Yeah.
NFTs.
Oh. Trying to think of the word. No, I can't think of it. NFTs. This isn't very quick fire, is it?
Don't worry. Confusing, I think is what you just summed up.
Yeah, basically. I don't know what to think of them, really.
That's completely fine. But, oh my goodness. Guys, please, again, like I always say, I will be personally offended if you do not check out every single thing that Ben does. So that's the Smart Finance page. Check out Sensible Investors, the Ben and Shay podcast, like all of those things. Are there any other questions you would like to ask me?
Where do you want to go with your channel?
Yeah. So, like I was saying, I would very much. There's, like you were saying before, I don't want to just be making content for the sake of it. I always try to think, like, what is the value of this? And I currently have this problem where I consume too much content. I'm watching what everyone else is doing, but it's also giving me the unique perspective in I realize what people are not doing. And like we said during this conversation, I don't think enough people are talking about the psychology of investing. I don't think a lot of people are making investing fun and engaging enough that the kind of people that we all feel need this kind of content and will actually benefit from it the most will actually be actively engaged in it. So I really like anime. So one of the things or ideas that I'm coming up with is like, there's so many different anime characters. I want to create a series like, okay, how would this anime character invest? What's their psychology? Cool. I'm even thinking of like hiring voice actors to play the character's part and then just kind of talk through the different things that they would invest in, just to make it more fun and just more engaging, you know.
Definitely got to say, I love watching your YouTube channel. Me and my fiance sit down and watch it, and it's just so funny. We love just sitting down and going, I love this.
No, thank you. That honestly means a lot. Like, yeah, it generally does. But it's just, for me, this is one of the main reasons I started up the podcast again. It helps me keep scheduled, and I think I actually do so much more when I have more of a schedule rather than being relaxed and just creating something whenever. So hopefully I can push out more content, but again, it's everything I create, it has to help someone or inform someone in some way and just be more engaging than what I feel is currently out there.
Yeah.
You know,
I definitely agree.
That would be it. But yeah, if that's all, I would say thank you guys for tuning in. Ben, thank you so much for being an amazing guest. This conversation, we definitely have to have a part 2 because there's a lot more things.
Definitely thank you for having me. And I'll be more than happy to come on and just chat a load of more rubbish with you.
Definitely. Okay. But yeah, guys, it's been your boy Kay, and it's been Ben from the Smart Finance page, and I'll see you guys later. See ya. Bye.